Okay, are we live? We should be live. We are live. Cool. Right, it's CvC during the Turtle event, and we've just had a look at our opposing clan, and we're not going to win. They have 102 victories. That's a lot. We have 57. We're not going to compete, but that's all right. We can't be bothered. Yeah, they're probably all crazy. Hi to anyone that is watching. We're going to kind of grind some points, but nothing major. We're just going to have a little look at what's actually going on in Raid today. We can finish the Sand Devil tournament. It's another Soulstone. Hi Zeth. Cheers for coming in, mate. Think we've already done Dragon. No point in doing any more of that. I might maybe push to stay in the top 10 at some point. I don't know if we're going to go for a top 3. CvC is, well, it's just started, but we're up against a clan that is clearly taking CvC very seriously, so we're probably not gonna bankrupt ourselves trying to beat them, because yeah, 102 victories is nuts. Like, we go pretty hard in CvC, but we don't go that hard. Yeah, I mean, CvC's only been live for an hour, and they're yeah, they're kind of going for it. Yeah, exactly, 1 mil already. It's, yeah, they're clearly taking it quite seriously, but that's all right. We're just going to kind of chill stream it. I've got about 5 different things I need to do, but I don't have the energy to do them. Like in-game energy, that is. But it is Tuesday, which means we've got more stuff in the clan shop. And it's nice to see crit rate charms, because one thing I want to do today is craft up all of my Slayer gear that we got from the last Forge Pass. And we'll hold the energy for now. We'll use it. We'll grab it when we actually need it. And we'll get the relic materials. That's kind of necessary. Don't know why, because it's only rare. I wish these weren't at such high level, especially the rank 3s. A level 30 clan, it feels pretty impossible. Like, by the time any clan actually gets to level 30, I imagine relics will be like a thing of the past, and they won't hold as much weight as they do now. Yeah, gear cleanse double dip. That is, we've got the gear enhancement. Unfortunately, because I try and keep all of my gear really organized, when it comes to enhancement events, I've never actually got anything to enhance, but yeah, we do have the Slayer crafting, which we're going to do now. I've got tons of charms. Got 84 of the crit rate ones. Might do 50 or something to start with. See if we've got any new gear in here. That can go in the bin. I did want to save some crit rate charms for lethal, because obviously Dark Fae is live, but I might wait until the end of the rotation. So let's just craft all of them with no filter. What have we got? Was it 82? 84. Should be a hell of a lot of points. actually just double check I am on Slayer on. I don't know if anyone's done this before, but quick crafted a bunch of stuff and you realise that you'd used a whole bunch of charms and it wasn't even the right set or rarity. I've done that before and that was horrible. Yeah, I think, Arvo, that's probably a good shout, mate. I'm only doing it today because I'm not around tomorrow, so I thought I'd get as much done today as I can. There's a pretty good spread of stuff in there. We'll worry about that in a minute. I realise I'm quite close to energy cap. And I don't want to go over, so I'm going to do a couple of Sand Devil runs, because I think we're near the end of that. These tournaments, they take so long to load on PC. On mobile, they're kind of instant. Where are we? $3,700, it's about 100 per. Oh, so it's still quite a lot of energy away from that. We'll just get a couple done quickly. I've got a really fast team for this now. I brought Marius into the team and it's changed literally everything. Should only take about 20 seconds. Yeah, there's a lot of weight for doing Minotaur, especially I think this time around it's 2x points on Minotaur. And I've still got to do... I finally pulled Crocad, even though I'm still not kind of mad about him. I think I want to try and build Shayak and Crocab. We might try and do that on stream today, because I absolutely suck at Faction Wars. Yeah, I don't know if anyone's watched my latest video. I did something about free gear removal. I'm so suspicious of it. Everyone's really happy about it, and I can see why. But there's no such thing as free in this world, and I feel like we're going to start to see creeps in price kind of elsewhere in the game. And I think it won't be long before we see artifact enhancement tournaments. I mean, what do they cost now? Probably like somewhere between 10 and 15 mil silver. I don't think it'll be long until they start costing, I don't know, 25, 30 mil silver. Because I'm lucky I don't really spend my silver. I have tons and tons and tons of it. So I don't really like upgrading gear unless I think something's worth upgrading. I never change champion builds because I tend to use the optimizer. But yeah, I'm incredibly suspicious about the free gear removal. It's great, but it's also going to change how we actually gear our champions, full stop. You could argue now that if you use the preset filters, you kind of don't really need to keep many champs built. You could just have, as long as you organize it well, you could have like Merciless 1, 2, 3 and just have those. Same with like, I don't know, Slayer, Regeneration, Perception, any sets, Savage, Cruel. And then you just keep everyone empty. And then when you have, whenever you want to do a bit of content, just gear them. And then when you're done, take the gear off. And it might benefit other ways of getting things done, because we've got, if you consider your own player power and everyone in your clan, I think the lower your player power is, the easier your matchups are going to be in terms of like tournaments and things like CvC. I can't say that for sure. That's kind of, I'm just speculating on that. But on the off chance that's a thing, it might not hurt if everyone's sat at about 20 mil player power. If you just ungear all your champs, you might drop down to about 12. And if everyone in your clan does that, then maybe, well, that could potentially be a good thing. But yeah, I'm happy about the gear removal, but at what cost? And that's why I did my video yesterday. The video yesterday was a bit tongue-in-cheek. I wasn't really being completely serious. I was just having a bit of fun. But nothing is free. There's no such thing as free. These rolls are terrible. Why would I want resistance? Ugh. Just while I'm going through it, just for synergy reasons, crit rate good, attack good, HP not so good. So what do we want? Triple crit rate would be nice. Double crit rate, 1 attack. Double attack, 1 crit rate. Not that. Ugh. Oh, the RNG is so frustrating. This one is better. I just want crit rate and speed. That's good. At least we're not just getting slapped now. HP, pretty boring, but that's okay. I only want crit rate. That's why I used my crit rate charms. I only want crit rate. Not that. Come on, be nice on the rolls. Be nice. Looking for some triple crit rate, triple speed. I will accept double crit rates. Nope, don't need it. I know I could rework all of this gear. It's just terrible. But I kind of want to save any resources I can. Double crit rate or bin? Nope. Bin. I hope everyone is doing alright wherever you are tuning in from. Double speed, that's nice. Resistance, no good, but we will keep it. And my latest little thing I like to do, because if you've done tons of Sand Devil, you'll have so much of this lesser oil. Any bit of gear that I like now, I just pop one little ascension on it, and then that way I know it's a keep. This could be good. Estonia, nice. Very nice. I went there once when I was about 11 and it was freezing cold. Like freezing cold. Nice though. Nice buildings, like solid architecture, really pretty. Reminded me of like a Gotham sort of style. Almost didn't seem real. Oh, some of these stats are horrible. I didn't get to go in the summer. I can't, like, it was so long ago, I can't remember what time of year it was. Triple crit rate. Thank you. All I know is it was damn cold. I think it was a connection flight. I think we were going somewhere else, but we had a night and a day, or day and a night in Estonia. Yeah, minus 30 in winter. That sounds more like it. I don't know if I quite hit the minus 30, but it was like evil cold. These 5 stars I might rework because we've got tons of the ore. That's better. Damage speed, nice. I don't really know what this Slayer's going to go on, because anyone I kind of need in Slayer, I've kind of already got in Slayer. Which is not many. So these 2 are good. That one's terrible. What's the mythical saying? Nothing good. Do we have... Oh, we got tons of mythical ores. Speed and crit rate, very nice. Accuracy and resistance, though. Oh, I mean, there's no point in taking that to 12. Please hit speed. No. Bin. And such is gear rolling. You gotta love it. All I want is crit rate, speed, attack. Crit rate, speed, defense. Crit rate, speed, HP. Not this. I'll go down to the boots. I see mythical boots and I hope, but they're probably flat sat. No, they're not too bad. They're pretty bad. These are good. What do you want on boots? Attack boots. You want speed. So if this doesn't double speed, I'm probably going to bin it. Yeah, it's not going to double speed. It's now a terrible bit of gear. I kind of have to take it to 16 because I'm looking for an attack pair of boots with speed. It's a massive waste of silver, but we've got tons of it, so it doesn't matter. No. That is terrible. Flat attack, flat attack. Boots are evil because you know you want that good pair, but they just don't come along. Speed good. If the main stat on my boots isn't speed, I'm looking for at least a double or a triple speed from the roll. It's 2025. You have to bring if you're going into live arena gold 4 in 2025, you need your DPS going like 250, 260 speed. And you just kind of can't get that if you don't bin your double roll speeds. You need triples and quads. Oh, this is awful. There's nothing good in here. I'm not keeping the 5-star speeds because I've already got loads. That's a shame. In fact, for my account, anything 5-star rare is just kind of not going to cut it anymore. But it is all silver at the end of the day, and we like silver. Go with the gloves. What do we want? Crit damage. That's kind of it, really, just crit damage. But anything on the bottom row I will keep if it's just a good bit of gear. It doesn't matter whether it matches Slayer or not. That's kind of irrelevant. Bottom row gear is way more exclusive. And even then, that's not very good. Not a single pair of crit damage gloves in 6-star. They're alright. Crit damage with crit rate is nice. Never keep attack gloves unless they've got speed and accuracy on them. It's quite an easy blanket rule for gear cleansing. Oh, they have not been kind to us on the rolls today. But we are double dipping points, well, triple dipping. We've got artifact enhancement and we've got CvC. Crit rate, good, rubbish. That's a really good shield. We like that one. Not so much that, nor that. Let's roll, where was it? This one. This is, when I'm being lazy, I would actually just take this straight to 16. I don't care what the stats are, they're all brilliant. Or roll it bit by bit. Crit damage, speed, not bad. Don't spread. Yep, crit damage is good. Take it to 16. Resistance, whatever. I like resistance. I'm one of the weirdos that puts resistance in everything. Because it's all good having a cracked out build, but if someone provokes you, you're kind of damned. That is the first one we've got today that I've liked. That was terrible. I don't know if anyone's actually kind of excited about the fusion that's going on. I'm doing it. Normally I would make tons of videos about the fusion, but I'm doing it, but kind of begrudgingly, because I don't know, I'm one of those, don't shoot me in the comments, but I was actually never into Ninja Turtles as a kid. I like it more that now, now that I'm a bit older, I really enjoy it. But this one hasn't hit me in like the nostalgia like it's hit everyone else. And the collector in me thinks, oh, I want all 4 turtles. I don't really care about Shredder and April because I don't really see a scenario where I'm going to get them. But the completionist in me would like the 4 turtles. That would make me quite happy. That was a good bit of gear back there. but not when the stats go like that. But take it to 16 just in case. Resistance. We're getting burned by resistance today. I wouldn't normally do it, but I'm actually tempted to use ore on the mythical boots. I don't know how much of it I've got. I've only got 3. It's kind of a bad idea. His boots could roll about 8 or 9 different stats. I've got a 1 in 8 chance of it actually being good. Yeah, let me find something that I've got. I've been doing a little bit of testing. Sorry for all the technical stuff in the background. But I did a test about the last fusion. And hold on, let's bring this up. And this was for the Crocad fusion, and that, you know, the start column is what I started with, and the right is the finish column is what I ended up with. And whilst it felt expensive to do at the time, if we ignore the fact that I rage pulled all of my void shards because I was going for Senna, that was kind of nothing to do with the fusion. If you actually look at what it does cost, it's not a lot. You can actually see that in some parts I gained. I should actually change this to add. Now, it's been a long time since I was free to play, so, you know, my ability to create and gather new resources is probably higher than a free to play, but I really don't spend any money on this game anymore. I buy the daily gem pack, and I occasionally buy the Forge Pass. But if we look, you know, I started with 153 rank chickens and I ended with 151. I actually gained on rank 4s and rank 5s. I lost a little bit on the bruise, but I actually went up on Spirit and Void. It is actually kind of weird when you make a note of the before and after, because even though the fusion feels absolutely exhausting, it is actually odd how you can save in the process. Like, I gained a lot of ancient shards during the last fusion, and that was just doing the events and not spending any. It's kind of weird. Making this list really, really surprised me, because I thought it was going to cost me an absolute fortune, but it's kind of, fusions are kind of weird like that. Yeah, it is a month of hoarding to do a fusion, and I've said it in a few of my videos, and I've got another one coming out soon where I'm going to kind of say the same thing. Raid are so good at being, how would I put it? They're so good at making you spend money all the time, and if you're not spending money, they're really good at just draining you of resources. And I've been doing an account takeover now. I've been working on it for about 8 weeks, and the guy just goes for every single event, and, you know, more often than not, he doesn't really get anything out of it. He'll go for, let's say Harima is on a progressive chance. He'll burn like 20 sacred shards going for Harima, won't get her, and then want to rage quit the game. But then the fusion comes along and he hasn't actually got the ability to do the fusion. And I keep saying to him, if you only pull shards and valuable resources during a fusion, no other time, whilst you feel like you're missing out on stuff, you're ultimately going to gain more in the long run. So I am only now pulling shards during fusions. And during Crocad, I pulled like a Void legendary, a couple of Ancient Shard legendaries. Now, it means my income of legendaries is a lot smaller, but it feels more targeted, and it feels like when something comes along that I actually want to do, I can just go, cool, I'm going to do that today. I think the biggest mistake I made this month was I went for the... Is it the kind of, you pull a legendary and get another one for free? So you sort of get a 2-for-1. And I pulled, on camera, I pulled 16 sacreds. Off camera, I pulled another 10. And I still didn't get a legendary. So I kind of burned 26 sacreds and got absolutely nothing for it. And I think if I just go, right, I'm only going to really, really play the game properly during a fusion. And that's not with everything. You know, if champion training comes along, that's fine. gear enhancement, I've got tons of silver, so I can do those whenever. But shards are the bottleneck. They're the thing that will stop you from actually completing a fusion without spending money. And you don't have to spend money to finish a fusion. You really don't. I think if everyone treated their account more like a free-to-play account, people would go a lot further in this game. I mean, if you look at Boozer, he's 99% free-to-play. Obviously, he's part of the Plarium content program, so he does get a few extra bits every week. But, you know, treat your account like a free-to-play and just save. I think I said it in my silver video. Just pretend that you're broke and live within your means, and you'll soon start to gain resources. It's actually amazing how much you can earn. But yeah, if you only play fusions, you'll go quite far in this game. And you will pull other legendaries during fusions. I can't remember who we had, whether it was during the Blade Master event. I can't remember which one was the fusion. I don't know if it was it might have been Rathalos, or maybe he was a login champion. But I pulled about 4 legendaries just during that fusion because I'd saved up from the last one. So it feels counterintuitive, but there's probably a lot of weight to be had in just playing in those times. Oh, these rolls. It's always on the mythicals. But remember, mythicals don't mean anything when you get double resistance rolls. Nice. I'm going to blitz through this because I realise I've been taking ages, and it's now hammering with rain outside, even though it's 30 degrees. Right, this is a good bit of gear. We want crit rate and speed. That's all we want. Don't give us attack and accuracy. That's okay. So far, so good. Oh, it's the worst. It's the actual worst. Let's just burn a few of these, because I really need some crit damage gloves. That's not it. Want crit damage gloves with crit rate and speed. And I'm now going to make the cardinal sin of Raid Shadow Legends. I'm going to end up using legendary Chaos Ores on epic gear, because for some reason it's really easy to get the legendary ones, but it's really hard to get the epic ones. That needs complete flipping. That is, I don't know why they've done it like that. I think there should be a universal token, not a rarity based token. And I accept that that might be harder to get. Oh, what's with the double resistance rolls today? That's like the 7th or 8th one I've had. That is horrible. I'll move on from this double resistance again, really. I'll move on from gear rolling in a bit because it's miserable. And we'll see if we can get some more fun stuff done. Double resistance again. Oh, you gotta love it. Right, let's get rid of the flats. I'll leave that there for now. How are we doing on the tournament or event? Pretty good. The game is entirely resisting. All it wants is resistance. It's like, thanks. I only saved that gear for like 5 months to pull today. What did we get in our little treasure chest? 25 gems. I will take it. Thank you very much. When's Live Arena open? That'll be us in 2 hours. I won't be here. That's fine. Let's hope for some sacred shards. Void is good. Yeah, I don't know what it is about. Some fusions feel really, really busy. And other fusions feel kind of chill, and I would actually argue that the Ninja Turtle one feels kind of chill. Crocad felt crazy, there was so much going on. But with the new event dungeon, the need to be in there is very low. I'm yet to find a viable use for the Chronophage set. Although, and we'll have a look at it in a second, even a one-piece bonus is actually really, really solid. Wow, what happened there? Why did we die? That usually does 1 billion. Something happened there. That's better. Let's just actually take a look at the Chronophage set, if I've got any. Must have 1 or 2. A 3-star, that goes in the bin. But let's just have a look. Yeah, so a 1-piece. So if you just maybe just kept accessories, you know, just putting a 1-piece on, that's 10% HP. That's actually quite solid. But as far as the 9-piece goes, I don't see the value of having a 9-piece over a 6-piece. Because if someone's going to lock you out, chances are their whole team's going to be faster than you. So you can essentially block the cooldown, but then the next person in their team is just going to smack you anyway. I don't know, there's not... I'm yet to see a reason to use it as any kind of meta kind of strategy. But I could be missing a real easy trick there. I just haven't thought of it yet. I want to just finish Sand Devils so that I can start putting my energy into CvC. Didn't mean to background that. Yeah, I don't dislike the Ninja Turtle fusion. I think it's a cool idea. I think they missed a massive trick with the fusion. The fact that Donatello is purple and he's not a void. I think that was a complete missed trick, and instead they made Leonardo ended up being the void one. I don't even know what faction any of them are in. Yeah, the fact that Donatello is magic affinity, that just kind of, I find that really weird. I don't even know where the other ones are. Thank you. Thank you, Arvo. Yeah. Yeah, why is Leonardo void and Donatello is magic? But he is cool. He is very, very cool. And I would like to collect them all, but I don't know how much I want to burn to get it. I mean, I don't have a ton of shards anymore. And if they, I mean, obviously one of these turtles is going to show up in a deck of fate. I mean, I think we can call that right here, right now. And if we think in a deck of fate, there's... How many cards are in a deck of fate? I can't quite remember. It's written in one of the achievements. No, it doesn't say. It's just all cards flipped. I can't quite remember how many, but I think for Sacred Shards you get like 4,500 points a time. So it's probably at least 17 or 18 Sacred Shards to get it done. And we do not have that. We also haven't pulled a Sacred from the clan boss in about 3 weeks. Which is pretty horrible. Let's see what we can do here. How much energy? So 5 runs in there. That probably leaves about another 7. I am a little bit ticked off that our fusion wasn't void, but I'm really happy that we got a fusion that wasn't a DPS. It feels like all they ever give us is DPS fusions alongside free login champion fusions that are all, free login champion DPS. And there just isn't enough DPS gear to go around. Oh, when I'm streaming, this dungeon is a lot slower. I so have to do a guide on Marius. I've mentioned him about 7 times now on my videos, but I've not done a guide. He is a monster. Hi to anyone else that is watching. Thank you for joining. We're just trying to grind some CvC out. Not to win, because we're never going to win against the clan that we're against. Make this the last one. See how we're doing on points. Also, I don't know if anyone's surprised that we didn't get Splinter or the Turtle collab. There is a slot in Skinwalkers just waiting for a Splinter. We need 5250. We've got, what, 4200? 4600. Okay, we might just finish that instead. We've got no energy refills, but we have got the clan shop. So let's just go. How many points? We need 100. This should put us pretty close. But I do wonder what they're going to do with the next deck of Fate, because there will be one coming and it won't be long. I just can't work out if they're going to put Leonardo or Raphael's the other turtle we won't get. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to play it. All I know is that they're going to make Leonardo incredibly expensive. He's a void legendary. It's not going to be a kind deck of Fate if that's what they do. Get these last 2 down. And in terms of a quiet week, I don't think there's any other news from Plarium this week, which is kind of nice. I don't like it when they hit us with like 3 things during a fusion. But we have got the event dungeon tournament starting tomorrow. I think this is about as fast as we're going to get the team now. I might also on the stream show you something that I'm kind of working on. It's not 100% yet. But after the last fusion, I realized how much I hate doing the Ice Golem dungeon. Especially on 10. And I did, as you can see there, I managed to get a rundown under a minute. But I tested it 10 times and it failed 7 of the 10 times. But I told someone in my clan, the same team, and he's got it at 100%, so I don't quite understand what's happening there. But, so we've done a bit of artifact enhancement. This is incredibly tempting. I'm probably closer to Mercy than I think, but I want Senna, not Donatello. I'm saving everything for Senna. Still got faction wars to do. Yeah, I was thinking about doing some because I've got Hold on, let's get some energy so I don't have to use gems. I do kind of want to build Crocat and Shayak. Now, I'm not interested in putting them in Hydra because the champions that they would need to be alongside to get me massive scores, I'm using on other teams, and those teams are doing just fine. But I think just trying them would be good because I spent almost the entirety of the last fusion just essentially shitting on the fusion, saying how I didn't actually think it was going to be any good. And I did the same with Tholin, and I was wrong about Tholin. He's actually pretty solid. And I do like Crocad, but I think that only because of the Unity. He is, yeah. A lot of people, I've seen some really good stuff with him. And if anything, I would just use him for Faction Wars. You know, if I can't slot him in elsewhere, I've got Faction Wars. Any Cursed City stage is probably going to be brilliant with him. I don't have enough books to do them both out. So I'm going to have a little think about who's going to get the books. Because currently even though I'm not pulling Void Shards at the moment, I'm so hellbent on getting Senna that I want to make sure that if/when I ever do or don't pull her, I've got enough resources, mainly books, to just go bang, build. I don't care if it's CvC, anything. Like literally the second I get her, I will just use brews, chickens, and books, and probably gems to do her masteries. So I don't know how many books Senna needs. It's probably 11, and I've only got like 15 or something. So I don't quite know who to dish the books out to on these guys. Or maybe they don't need books. Some duos can live without them. Yeah. Senna. I think what I'm really hoping about Senna, and I only thought about this morning and it kind of freaked me out, because you see kind of patterns in Raid where they really want to push a certain champion onto you, and you find that, I mean, let's use Senna as an example, almost the last, what feels like 2 months of either champion chase tournaments or CvC or basically anything that they want you to pull shards for, Senna has been on a like a progressive chance for basically 2 months. And I hope that they don't get bored of that and move on to something else, because that will just drastically reduce the chances. One of the champions I want more than any other champ in this game is an old school champion, but it's actually Venus, and they barely run events for Venus anymore. So I spent probably way too much time, energy, and money trying to chase her. Probably never going to get her now because she just doesn't appear in the progressives. Not that progressives do a lot, but it's something, isn't it? It's a little bit more chance. So I hope they don't get bored of Senna, and I hope they keep throwing her in. Plus, they'll make loads of money if they do, because she kind of is the key to really high scores in late game content. I also want to see what, and no one's done this combo, but I want to put Senna, is it Opodin, Clanfather, and Arix all in one team together? And the turn meter would probably be absolutely crazy. Yeah, you know what? It's funny you say Marishka, because at one point when I had shards before I pulled them for Senna, I was thinking it must have been an event that they run where it was you could pick between the voids you wanted to go for. One was Marishka, one was Senna. And the only reason I chose Senna is because in my soul collection, I have a 6-star soul for Senna, and I don't have anything for Marishka. But I don't think I've got a Marishka soul at all, or if I do, it's very low. Not there. No, I don't have a Marishka soul, so that was my logic for going for Senna. But I absolutely suck. Like, I seriously suck at PvP in this game. I can do, obviously, classic arenas really easy. Quite recently, I've started dabbling in tag team arena, just so that I can get a bit more used to the concept of doing PvP. And it's not a raid thing. It's just in any game that I play, I don't really like PvP stuff. I'm a much more PvE kind of guy. But I appreciate that I need to do live arena because I need area bonuses. I've done little bits over the time. I've kind of done some of the easy ones, but I just don't enjoy arena. So Mariska would probably be the better choice for my account. Like, in fact, it's probably not a question. She would be the better choice. Plus, I do have... where is he? Yeah, I do have a Taras. So I know the combination of them is really, really, really good. I think, if I'm not mistaken, there was a quest today to do... Yep. One of them. It's another bit done. I also think Mariska's going to help in... Oh, what's it even called? Hard Faction Wars. Because considering the level of my account, the fact that I've only got 446 stars in Faction Wars is a bit embarrassing. Like, I can't even get past stage 9 on High Elf. Sylvan Watchers, for some reason, I'm stuck on 15. I can't remember. I think it's like wave 2 or wave 3 just kills me every time. But yeah, I would argue that Mariska is a better champion for me, for my account, but I've actually spent time and money now chasing Senna, so I have to get Senna. I do. I have a disgustingly solid PvP roster, and I just don't put it to use. Yeah, it's something. Weirdly, it's one of the reasons I started my YouTube channel, and it was, how about I just start from the bottom and try and learn how to do PvP, and then people can rage at me in the comments for making bad decisions and all that good stuff. But I think it's a confidence thing. Like, I know I've got the champs to do it. In fact, I've got the champs and I've got really good gear on a lot of my champs. They might need a bit of tuning, but I think it's confidence. I just feel like whenever I walk into live arena, I just get slapped or I make the wrong choice. But that is ultimately why I've been doing tag team. Because you don't always get to pick, you know, the favorite champions. So spreading it a bit thinner, like in tag team, has helped me kind of do it. Exactly. Yeah, no, it's embarrassing, isn't it? I should be in gold 4 for live arena. There's no excuse to not be in gold 4. And I've never entered one of the seasonal things. I think yeah, we get what, 5 tokens a day, and I would say 6 out of 7 days a week I don't even use them. It's really bad. I talk quite a lot with another content creator who's really good at PvP, and I have said to him, I might just give you my account for a week and you can do some coaching. It'll be like turning the tables, because I am bloody terrible at PvP. I'm just going to see if I can finish this, because I want to get this tournament done and dusted, get my soulstone. You know what? Helikath in arena, everyone is talking about it, and it is so true, especially in I saw him in like 9-piece protection set, and he was putting up protected block damage. Or you can just build him as a crazy nuker, and then obviously he counterattacks anytime someone hits someone under block damage. Yeah, I have actually grown to really, really like Helikath recently. Yeah, I will get used to it. I think like anything, just the more you do it, the less you think about it, and you just kind of go in for it. I'll tell you what is actually embarrassing. I'm sitting here saying I'm kind of scared of live arena. My win rate is like high. I probably win 8 out of 10 fights. But it's weird, the second I lose, I go, oh no, I must have done something really wrong, and then I kind of get in my head and I don't want to do it again. But speaking of Helikath, we're just going to go for stage 1 because I haven't quite sorted this team out yet. I've been trying to work out a way of making the Ice Golem like a farmable, easy dungeon. because yes, you could bring in a bunch of high resistance, you know, your Artak, Theodore, Sulfurion, anything in regen that can just live. And I know you can burn the boss down, but even with crazy stats, you still have that 3% chance to get heal reduction put on you. And then it's just kind of GG. Yeah, I know. It's embarrassing, isn't it? There's me all like, I've got a crazy account and I'm terrified of Live Arena. But yeah, this block damage strat is kind of cool. Especially now when we can just double up. I could just avoid the freezes. Makes it a very, very, very fast team. And I'd like to be able to replicate this on stage 10. On stage 10, my champs get frozen. I know the answer is the guy from my clan used Crixia, I think, instead of Thor or something like that. And essentially it's double reset, but one of the resets has got block buffs or block debuffs. But it's a really fun little team, that, because I was bored of having 5-minute dungeon runs. But we should, hopefully. Sand Devil is now done. I don't know if there's actually... Sorry, I've got live arenas in my head now, isn't it? Where there's a place you can see... Like, if you have, like, a win rate, I think you can see it on... On Classic Arena, you can see your win rate. I mean, for most people, it probably is about 100%, because you can just pick your fights. But with Live Arena, I don't think there is anything. Yeah, so Fusion... I'm halfway. I don't know what's left to do. I've already done Dragon. I did that this morning. I don't know what's next on Fusion. There's nothing in tournaments. Gear enhancement, we're nearly all the way through. I will top that up as we go, I think. Yeah, we're close to getting that done. Plus the last 2 rewards are terrible, so we don't need to farm too hard for that. Dungeon Divers. I'm kind of tempted to just... Yeah, we've got a long way to go with that. I might just burn loads of energy and put that on as background battles. But hold on, let me just check, because I probably do have somewhere the calendar. And now I can mark what we have actually done, because I missed a fusion by 5 fragments once. So now I mark everything so that I don't miss out. Is Donny worth it? I don't know. I don't know. I'm reluctant to say, because I always seem to shit on fusions and then I seem to get proved wrong. And that's cool. I love being proved wrong. But is Donatello worth it? Probably yes, actually. He's quite unique, and this is the cool thing about fusions. If he was just to support with his A1 and his A2, I would say probably not. But sorry, no, A1 and A3. But because of his A2, to have an ally cooldown reduction is very cool. Now, obviously, it's not quite the same as a Kaimar or a Crixia or Yumeko or whatever she's called. But one champion, and it was the first legendary I ever pulled on my account, was Countess Lix. And when you first start playing Raid, obviously you haven't got a clue what you're doing. And it took me so long to realize that this particular skill here was so cool. Now, obviously you've got the chance of locking the team out from active skills, but it's the decreasing the cooldown of your own skills is very, very cool. And what it eventually taught me is understanding like speed tuning in a team, or like turn order and stuff like that. Because like, bear in mind, this is 5 years ago. I was a complete noob and I didn't know what I was doing. I just saw a champion that had a gold thing around it. It had wings and tits and fire, and I just thought, well, that must be good. But actually it's this A3, and the only reason I'm coming off the back of Donatello is the decreasing the cooldown of ally skills is actually criminally underrated if your team maybe struggles with books, and that's where I saw the biggest effect. Now let's just say right now I've got Donnie and I put him in a team with Crocad and Shayak. Now I don't have Shayak or Crocad booked, so I can just get around to using their skills a bit more often because of this skill. So I would argue that Donatello is really, really, really good. He's my favorite fusion in a long, long time because he's not an attack-based fusion. I'm bored of attack champions. I think his A2 makes it worth it. As for the rest of his kit, I mean, not only has he got a turn, like cooldown reduction, he has got a cleanse. So he might not be shiny like Crocad, and he's not going to put out crazy numbers like Tholin. But as far as utility goes, yeah, I would actually argue Donnie is worth it. And I don't mean this to sound condescending because I'm only really having a go at myself here. It's when I first started playing Raid, because I just didn't understand what I was doing. It's a whole lot of writing with not a lot of explanation. I think for a very, very beginner player, the concept of what Donatello is doing might, you know, kind of go over their heads a little bit, and that's totally fine. That's not me shitting on anyone. That's just Raid. It's so much information, so many skills, so many champions. But I think he would be a great champion to have to become like the staple core of all of your teams, because the more you use it, the more you'll understand what it is he's actually doing. And yeah, I think the more I've sat and tried to actually look at what this guy does, the more I'm kind of on board. I think he is very, very cool. Also, he's got a turn meter boost. In fact, I'd argue he's one of the best free champions we've been given in a long, long time. The active effect is a bit weird. I mean, it's kind of cool. It prevents someone from dying. But if someone hits you with a multi-hit skill, it's not going to activate anyway. Orion, what to do during CvCs? For starters, try not to spend any money if you're a spender. But what I would always do is I would go to the Clan v Clan screen. I would look at where... This is brilliant, isn't it? I would look at where your clan is in comparison to the enemy clan, and think about whether it's actually worth going for it. Because I would argue that Clan v Clan only becomes really significant in the late game. Also, and this is for absolutely everyone, and I learned this by doing a takeover. If we look at personal rewards, now I'm in tier 4, is that? Yeah. I would have to put down 300,000 points. Now that's not crazy points. It's a lot, but it's not crazy. But what would that cost me considering the reward? So let's say you get, looking at this, you get 3 void shards as a reward. If I pulled, well, if I wanted to go for 300,000 points, I would probably have to pull my void shards. And I would pull more than 3 to only get 3 back. I don't know. I'm starting to think that Clan versus Clan is a bit of a scam. And also think of the energy, right? So personal rewards, what's it? 4, 8, 12, 16. So there's 2,000 energy up for grabs if you win, but only if you win. I'm going to spend more than 2,000 energy getting it done. I'm probably going to spend more than a couple of chickens. So, I don't know. I think Clan v Clan, when you factor in the rewards for personal, I'm only talking about personal, when the whole clan is chipping in and you can get, you know, higher tier rewards, very cool. But I personally think CvC is a bit of a scam. You're going to always put more into it than you get out of it. Plus, if you put a whole bunch of your resources in and you still lose, I'd argue it is a waste. How to get higher tiers? You know what? I can't say definitively because there isn't one of those little information buttons, so I can only speculate. But I mean, the clan rewards make sense because it will be weighted off of this number here. You know, how many CvC trophies have you got? So I imagine it works like Siege in that you just sort of climb up the ranks. As for personal, you know what? I don't entirely understand. It might be as simple as, let's say in this one, if I complete the last milestone, then the next time it comes around, I'll be in tier 5. Or it might work a little bit like, let's just find, you know how you've got levels on champions? I wonder if like hitting cap counts for a certain amount of these. And then after you've won a few, maybe you move up in tiers. But there isn't a... There's no definitive advice that I can find exactly on what allows a player to climb. I would assume everyone in my clan... No, I know for a fact that everyone in my clan is on tier 6 for general clan rewards. But as for personal, I don't know if some people are on maybe tier 2, some people are on tier 6. I don't know how it... I actually don't know. I might see if I can look into that. In fact, I'll do it after the stream. I might ask ChatGPT just because why not? Not that I expected it would actually know, but you just never know. Do that golem one more time. I'm going to try it on stage 6. I want this team to be 100%. Yeah, you know what, Twix? That I didn't think of that. It might work like 3v3. I imagine there are limited amount of spaces in each bracket, like 3v3. But the answer to every question you don't know the answer to in Raid is follow the money. And I think Plarium would gain more. See, we got froze there. That's really annoying. Plarium would gain more by allowing more people into the higher tiers, because to finish the higher tier, you're going to need to essentially probably spend money, or at least spend all of your resources so that you're forced to spend money later. So, yeah, it might work like 3v3. I'm going to research that after the stream. Your goals in early game. What would I do if I restarted Raid today? I mean, the first... Okay, I think what you need to aim for, and this is not day one, this might take you 3-4 months, but the most important thing in the entirety of Raid, and I will die on this hill, and so many people have told me I'm wrong, but is you need to get to... let's see... Okay, you need to get to Nightmare Clan Boss. Obviously, you'll get more as you go and you'll end up in Ultra Nightmare. But to do Clan Boss, the Demon Lord Clan Boss, it costs you nothing. The keys that you get are completely free. So anything you get in return is a positive return on your investment. Sorry, I'm still coming off the back of my video yesterday, so I'm in like accounting mode. But if you can get the ultimate chest, like the first thing you should aim for is to be able to get the ultimate chest. Now, it doesn't matter if it takes you 3 keys a day to do it. Forget about all the 1 key teams. Forget about all these crazy numbers you see on screen at the moment. Just try and work out a way to get yourself to the ultimate chest of Nightmare Clan Boss. Now, hopefully you're in a clan that clears it, because when you clear it, you get 2 chests every day. So if my clan didn't beat Brutal today and I did a fight, I would only get 1 chest. But because we've beat Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare, we will get 2 chests. So as a new player, the first place you want to kind of run to is the ability to do Nightmare, because it drops shards. Now, don't get suckered in. I don't know if you're free to play or if you're a spender, but you will gain more by spending later. If you try and do as much as you can for free now, it's a better place to be. But not only do you get shards, you also get books. You can probably ignore everything else, but what you need to get yourself as soon as possible for a new player is a revenue stream of shards and ideally books. And you also want to make sure that you upgrade your gem mine. Now, it's a lot to upgrade it, but it will take months for it to pay off for itself. But having an incoming stream of gems is incredibly powerful. And aside from that, if I could go back and tell myself one thing, it would be stop falling for Plarium's traps. Now, at the end of the day, they're a business. So the only people we can actually hate on are ourselves. And this is why I think Plarium is so clever. So let's take today's artifact enhancement event. Now, ignore the fact that it's a fusion. Let's just pretend this is any other event on any given day. Look at the rewards and go, right, what do I need? What don't I need? Now, for me, I need Donatello because I'm going for the fusion. So I'm going to get to 4775, but then I'm going to stop. There's no point in me spending another 10 million silver just to get a rank 4 chicken and an epic book. Now, if you need a rank 4 chicken and an epic book, by all means go for it. But learn to recognize when to stop. That's the biggest bit of advice I can give any player, new or, legacy player. It's going to be the same with this week's Dungeon Divers. I need the Donatello fragment, so I'm going to stop at 3700 because the rewards afterwards, I mean, I quite like this reward at 5000, but to get 1300 points in a Dungeon Divers is probably going to cost me, what, 2000 energy? And you have to weigh up, is 2000 energy worth the final reward? And 9 times out of 10 I would say it isn't. So I don't know if you've ever heard the phrase stay in your lane. I think Raid is the best example of a company that are permanently trying to pull you into another lane. But if you're a new player, try not to pull everything all the time. Just because you've got shards, it doesn't mean pull them. You've just got to get a core squad and focus on that core squad and build outwards. Don't try and do everything all at once because you'll end up doing nothing. Yeah, when to stop. That's... Maybe treat Raid like gambling, because at the end of the day, Plarium is a company that is something to do with casinos. So they know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing, and they know how to bait us. Like, a perfect example of bait is something today. If we look at the tournament, we will see that there are no champion chase or summon rush tournaments. You don't get any points for pulling shards today. Same goes in events. However, they drop an absolute beauty of a shard summon to go alongside it. So yeah, just recognizing that all they're trying to do is get your money will help you very much in the long run. That's, and apart from that, just work through it bit by bit. There's no right or wrong. Just, like when you're at school or college, university, or even work, and you've got a project that's due in, let's say it's due in 1 week today, it's very easy to wait till the night before and then have to do it all in one go. Raid is a bit like that. I much prefer to just do little and often rather than everything. Yeah, the game is complete gambling. It is absolute gambling. So the best thing I would suggest you do is gamble with your time and your resources, but don't gamble with your in your real life money, because I've done it. I'm willing to admit it. I've been into the shop and I have bought a absolutely disgusting shard pack before. I don't know which one. Something that I think it cost me like £100, and I pulled all of my shards and I didn't get a single legendary. So the next thing I did is I went and bought another pack for another £100. Pulled them all and got one legendary that I already had. And ever since that day, I have never spent another penny on pulling shards, because at the end of the day, it is gambling. That is exactly what this game is. It is gambling. So I'm willing to gamble with my time, but I'm not willing to gamble with my real life money. Now, I do still spend money on this game, but I buy the daily gem pack. And the reason I buy the daily gem pack is because there's no randomness to it. I pay, what is it, like 9, 10, call it $10 a month. And I know for that $10, I get all of these rewards that you see on screen now. And I don't get anything else. There's no chance that I could get something else. I just buy what I know I'm going to get. One caveat and one exception, I am a little bit addicted to soul stones, and that's because I'm a late game player. If you're early game, forget it, it doesn't matter. But I've got most legendary champions in this game that aren't void, because I've just been playing for so long. So chances are, if I was to rage pull all of my shards right now, I'm probably going to get a duplicate. I'm probably not going to get something new. So soul stones have become a little bit more valuable for my account. So yeah, every now and then I might treat myself and buy some soul stones. But basically, don't gamble. That's, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, raid is gambling. It's quite dirty. And this is why, like, if any of my friends are ever watching my stream and they're like, oh, you know what, I might start playing raid. Most of the time I say just don't, because it's a bit of a slippery slope. It's more time consuming than actually. The biggest comparison I can make is I used to play World of Warcraft. And that was a time sink. But raid arguably is just as much of a time sink as World of Warcraft. Okay, my best deals. I know I got one for this, but there's a few that I actually really, really like. So number one is the daily gem pack. That is just absolute no-brainer. Do not buy the daily energy pack. That is not worth your money. I bought it once, and the thing that pissed me off was having to wait each day for the energy, and it's different amounts on different days, so continuity is kind of bad. Forget about the Master and Sacred Founder packs. They're useless. Here is an interesting one. So each month we get the monthly pack, and we also get the Ultra Mix pack. In terms of value for money, I mean, Primal Shards are basically £5 each, so you're getting 40 quid's worth of shards already. Voids are like £5 each, so you get your money's worth, and you get a bit of energy and gems. I'm not saying buy it. I'm never going to be responsible for actually people buying, but the Ultra Mix pack and the monthly pack are actually pretty good. Someone bought me the monthly pack this month as a present, which was really, really nice. I normally wouldn't buy it, but let me think. Hold on a minute. There's actually something that might help you, Twix. If we go to, now what's it called? It's Hell Hades. Is it called like the deal calculator? Yeah, this. Now, it's a little bit out of date. I think he could actually do with upping this, or re-upping this. But let's just say, right, we're going to go for that pack. So we're going to put $49.99 in it, and I think it was 900 gems. Sorry, I'm going to do a bit of tabbing just to make sure I get this right. Ultra Mix pack, so it is 8 Primal, 3 Void, 6 Ancient. 8. 3 and 6. And sorry, I'm old, my memory's terrible. It's 5 multi-battles and 10 energy refills. 10 of them. 5 of them. And there you go. Right, Hell Hades has got it listed as bad deal. Now, I do think that this needs slightly updating, because the prices of stuff in Raid in general has gone up. You know, save that as like a bookmark or a web page. I've been using it quite a lot. I think when it says bad deal, that's not bad, because obviously once we got rid of everything else, it said just like trash in the bin. Now, if it says trash in the bin, don't buy it. But yeah, the Ultra Mix pack and the monthly pack are pretty good. They'll help you in fusions, that's for sure. But I struggle to look at a shard pack and go, right, cool, I think that's a good deal, because I just don't. Never, ever, 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 under any circumstances, buy gear from the shop. You know, faction accessories, not worth your money. Privilege pack, probably no good. Yeah, there's not a lot of that is worth spending your money on, but what I would try and do is aim for guarantees. You know, that's why I buy the gem pack, because I know I'm going to get gems. If you buy 10 void shards, you might get 10 rares. You know, if buying 10 meant you'd get 1 legendary, I'd be buying thousands of them, but unfortunately that's just not how it goes. And in there. Yeah, sometimes you got to stop. The game is pretty rough, but you know, if I've got spare money to spend, I quite like it. Plus, I mean, obviously I do content, so I kind of need to spend a little bit so that I can come out with some new content. But you don't have to spend. I actually, you know what, I 100% believe the best accounts that I've ever seen in this game are very advanced free-to-play accounts. I don't know if anyone remembers, he was a British YouTuber. He never put his face on camera, and he went under the name Ehabad, like Ehabad. And his kind of niche was he was absolutely awesome at 3v3 arena. And if you can, you know, go on YouTube and dig out his channel, and then you look at someone like Boozer and just anyone else that's free to play, anyone that's got far as a free to play is really worthy of learning from, because you know, they've had to do it with essentially Plarium going against them. Oh, where am I going? I want to get some more Minotaur done. Yeah, you don't need to spend money, but it is kind of fun. Yeah. I think also we have a phrase here, it's once bitten, twice shy. And it's kind of no different than, you know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. It's the same kind of thing with Raid. One thing we will actually check is how many points we've put down, because I don't think I've done a lot of points today. I've just been kind of dicking around. Yeah, not a lot. I've only put down 50,000 points. Now, everyone must remember, if they've been logging in for a little while, tomorrow, the Michelangelo chase means we get our champion. Now, I've checked. Unless Plarium throw something really dirty at us, there's no tournament for pulling champions or summon rush. There's champion chase. There's nothing like that. So at this moment in time, there's nothing to say don't pull it when it arrives. Like, obviously, if you log into the game, you're going to pull the champion. There are workarounds, but they're really fiddly. But if anyone is doing CvC, tomorrow everyone is going to get another 30,000 points. Just be mindful that that also means the enemy team, everyone on there is going to be getting 30,000 points. Oh, I appreciate that, Twix. That's actually the 3 that I watch. The Ehabad channel that I mentioned is no longer active. I think he quit. But I do think the channel still exists. And I would argue it's one of the best resources of raid information on YouTube. Mainly from a PvP perspective, but... And this was before like blessings and soul stones. It's a little bit more vanilla, but the knowledge this guy had was absolutely incredible. And I liked him because he had that kind of dry British humor as well. It was kind of no bullshit. It was just, this is what we're going to do. And at that time, I would have hated to go against him in arena. He would have absolutely destroyed me. Speaking of arena, let's just get some easy points. I think for CvC, if you can go about getting a ton of points without actually spending any real resources, then you're kind of onto a winner. Like arena keys are free, live arena keys are free, 3v3 keys are free. Do as much clan boss as you can because the keys are free. Maybe with my whole ranting about the whole silver thing, because as I've said on this stream probably about 50 times already, I am sorry if I'm a broken record. Nothing in this world is free, so we are going to get bombed by something else later down the line. But for people like me that have been hoarding silver, there's not actually now anything to spend my silver on. Yes, we get bits of gear in the market, but nothing's really jumping off the page. So I'd like somewhere to spend my silver so that hopefully during CvC, I can just spend my silver. Yes, I could upgrade all my gear, but most of my gear's already upgraded. Wixwell. Oh, yes. I'm the worst person to ask because like I do, maybe I'm seeing a pattern here. I'm just a really negative person. I completely shit all over Wixwell and went, what's he going to do? How is he any good? But that was mainly from jealousy because I couldn't build Wixwell teams. But I really like him. I've grown to like any champion that does something unique. And obviously he opened up the door for Titus teams. I think he's very valuable for that. As far as where I would use him, I don't really know. Now, I think he's a very, very, very cool champion. And I think he's got a lot of viability with his 80% books up to 100% provoke. I think that's very, very cool. Makes Hydra very cool. But, I don't know. I don't know. He's an absolutely awesome champion. I'm probably the wrong person to ask because I don't really use him. But at the end of the day, he does make Titus viable. And I'm sure he would make other shield growth style teams viable. There's a guy that's also part of Game Leap with me. He's called Bash. And he did a video yesterday about using 2 Wixwells. And I actually think I would enjoy Wixwell more if I was using 2. Now, I do think I have 2. I've got a funny feeling I have 2. I do have 2 of them. One's just in Faction Guardians. But he's very, very cool. And if you've got him with a sort of shield style team, you need to be using him. But outside of that, I don't yet see the value because I've just never really used him. I like him. One thing I will say about Wixwell is he's one of the coolest looking Sacred Order champions that there is. And it's stuff like this that makes me quite excited for the new faction that's coming out. Because I quite like the aesthetic on Sacred Order. And obviously I think the new faction is going to be kind of like classic Roman, like fantasy Roman. That would be very, very cool. And I don't know if anyone missed it, but they didn't... Their wording was incredibly particular, and it has to be because obviously they're all under embargoes and stuff like that. But they didn't say the final faction. They said the next faction. Because you've got to ask yourself, where does it end? And I would have thought, if you were going to bring in a new faction, to bring in something ultimately very humanoid makes a lot of sense. But I was thinking about what we could get in terms of Roman faction. And then I know this is not Roman, so like don't shoot me in the comments. But when I think of Romans, I also think of the Greeks. And I think of mythology. So I think of like Theseus and the Minotaur. I think of Medusa. I think of clearly nothing at the moment because my brain's gone blank. But if you think of all the cool like Greek gods and mythology and all the monsters and demons and fucking titans and stuff like that, I think the new faction could be very, very cool, and they're going to kill me for all of my money. Yeah, do I think it's going to be the last faction? I actually hope it's going to be the last faction. It depends ultimately on player retention, doesn't it? Because if Plarium can't keep people in the game, then they can't keep the whales spending the money, and therefore they can't pay people to make new stuff. So I think if they can keep the engagement going, and let's remember they are under the ownership of a new company. There hasn't been much said about that, but I might do a bit of research on that to find out exactly who the company are and who owns that company, because it'll all be relative. But I hope it's the last faction. But I don't know if it will be. The obvious choice would be to keep inflating the other factions. And that's fine. But the game's already got quite a lot of bloat in it already. I think a new direction wouldn't be a bad shout. But like I said in my latest video, do you really think Plarium are just going to cut one of their like streams of revenue? I doubt it. Exactly. Exactly, Zeth. They're not allowed to make it fail. They're under new ownership. And I would imagine the new ownership will not stand for lowering retention. I think I saw that as well. I want to say it was, it might have been Papa Druck in one of his collab videos. But they are, you know, if they, like, I don't have it anymore, but I used to run a business. And we didn't have anyone above us, but we had someone below us. And they needed to perform. And if they didn't perform, then I would have just got rid of them. Like when I was their boss, you know, you've got to hit this target. And if you don't, we're going to find someone else. And I would imagine any company that's just dumped a ton of money at Plarium to buy Raid, there's going to be a lot of rules in place. 3 speed on Lethal Banner, see? It's all about that. Wait, Lethal Banner? I don't think you can get Lethal Banners. Hopefully this is one of those times in Raid where I look at something and I go, oh, it's since 5 years, how did I not know this? I don't even think there's any rebuilding I want to do today because it's so typical, isn't it? I spent like 100 million rebuilding all of my champions about 2 weeks ago and then they dropped free regearing. But isn't that just a lesson in don't spend everything all at once? Ah, Stone Banner, nice. I'm always thinking of lethal, mate. I never have enough of it. Considering how my Slayer pulls went today, I'm not particularly excited about crafting all of my lethal gear. But at least lethal gear is like 100% free. You could argue that the Slayer gear is not free in the slightest. I nearly said the word then that I'm not allowed to say. I am really, really picky about my account in general. And I have little moments, like at the end of the day, I'm only human. I do have my moments where I break all of my rules, a bit like I did for a couple of videos where I was like pulling shards like crazy. But I'm well overdue a gear cleanse because I would never, ever, ever let myself get this high. The only reason I'm at 1,350 bits of gear is because I'm working on a video series about cleansing gear. Normally, I leave it at like 700, 600, 700 if I can. I'm incredibly picky. And I always use this for an example. Let's just close everything and look at speed. If I'm ever trying to teach someone how to understand gear in this game, I always go to speed. And with our little filters, which are actually quite nice, I always go by high priority, and let's just get rid of the boots. My standard on my account is that if it isn't a triple when it comes to speed, there's technically no point in me keeping it. And it's not because the gear isn't good. Sorry, I'm getting bitten alive today. It's not because the gear isn't good. It's because for what I want to achieve, I need triples and quads. So, you know, I will keep this triple because it's giving me 25 speed. If I'm going to go into live arena and get my ass handed to me left, right and center, I want to at least have a fighting chance. And from other content creators I watch and other games I watch, level 4, like gold 4 arena people have got their nukers going at like 270, 275. And unfortunately, you're never going to get to 275 if you are keeping bits of gear that, like this, that only have 13 speed on them. So, you know, for me, that is a delete. So I'm kind of picky on my gear in that regard. You know, same here, 15 speed on a double roll is just not going to cut it. So yes, I am a bit of a gear Nazi in terms of what I choose to keep and what I choose to bin. I'm a little bit more lenient nowadays on the bottom row gear. Because obviously, top row gear can only roll one stat as its main: attack on weapon, HP on head, defense on shield, blah 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 blah. Whereas on gloves, obviously you've got how many choices? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 different options that you could get something. So bottom row gear I'm a little bit more forgiving on. However, yeah, you're right. I was just about to say that. The only reason I'm this picky is because I'm at the stage where I can be picky. But holding yourself to a high standard in any part of your life, inclusive of Raid Shadow Legends, is going to pay off in the long run. So I'm lucky that I'm late game and I can be picky, but I think I would still be picky even if I started again. It might slow my process initially. However, something has massively changed this week, and I don't know whether that means I can now be more picky or less picky. I haven't quite worked it out yet. But with free gear removal, you could argue, like, let's pick some attack-based champions. Let's pick, let's just use Wukong as an example, and Tholin as an example, and maybe Thor. So maybe let's just think about those three champs for a sec. Now, I've got each one of them built, which is, hold on, maths, 9, 18. So that's taking up 27 slots of gear. You could actually argue that now with free gear removal, only one of them needs to be geared, and you could have a preset for it, which I think I've got. I don't know if I'm that organized yet. I've been a bit lazy this week. Have I got... Yeah, so I've got a preset here, which is my Merciless 6 Fast. It's incredibly OP, ridiculous, powerful build. I could just put that on any champion when I'm ready to use them and bin off all the old gear. There is an example for that. There is an argument, sorry, an example. There isn't an argument to do that now. I haven't yet decided what comes next after free gear removal, because everyone's talking about it. I sound like my video now. I've got to get out of script mode. Everyone's talking about it like it's the biggest thing that we've ever got as a positive, but it might just end up becoming a massive negative. But if I could give one bit of advice, don't delete gear just because you think you should delete gear. The biggest example of this is going to be Cursed. With Cursed gear, it used to place heal reduction, I think, which was shit. Like, nobody cared about it. But then all of a sudden they changed it and made it Hex, and Hex is absolutely amazing. So, you know, don't delete gear just because it's not in a good set, but still hold it to a high standard. And yet, Twix, the reason I have strong gear, and again, this is not because I've spent money or anything like that. It's just because I do very, very regular gear cleansing, and I'm really picky about what I keep. And if you do, and never try and do the whole gear cleanse in one go, unless someone's paying you to do it. Don't try and do it all in one hit because it will burn you out. But let's just say I pick one set. Let's pick on Zeal, because I've probably got hardly any Zeal. Exactly, this is a really good example. I go through and I go, right, that bit of gear is crap, and I just sell it. I don't get attached to gear because it's, you know, not quite doing what I want it to do. Now, I'm keeping this because it's got a double speed and it's got crit rate. Zeal is basically for doing damage. But looking at the rest of it, I don't even entertain it. There you go, 6 deleted. I just don't entertain keeping crap. So what that means is, let's jump forward 1 year, and I think, oh, I want to build a champion with Zeal. I go to Zeal, and what it means is every bit of gear that I've got is good. Ideally, it would be great. But I just hold my gear to an incredibly high standard so that whenever I want to build something, it kind of makes life easy. I reckon I've probably got a champion that we could build, just for an example. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, okay, let's go with Elva. Like, she's quite a popular champion. Now, because I only keep good gear... No, yeah, Zeth, your gear is your progression at the moment, and I would never say just delete something because, like, one of the accounts that I'm looking after on a takeover at the moment, he doesn't keep anything 5-star, but he gets 6 and 5-star gear, and he doesn't keep 5-star gear, and that is crazy because some of my best champions, like, sod it, let's look at Mikage. Is she in 5? Okay, ignore that. Some of my best champions somewhere on my account are in 5-star gear, and there's nothing wrong with having 5-star gear on your champions. So keep for now. And if anything, just see it as you've got a ton of silver. And even the blues, yeah, I keep blue gear. Like, some blues are good. Just because it's blue, it doesn't mean it's bad. Obviously, epic, mythical, and legendary not will be better, but could be better, because you can still get shit mythical gear. You know, I don't care about what rarity gear is. I don't give a crap whether it's common, uncommon, or mythical. Good stats are good stats, and what I'm always looking for is synergy of stats. So all I mean by that is when you've got, say, crit damage on your gloves, I want to make sure that I've got crit rate and speed to go with it, because those are the things that synergize with crit damage. If I'm trying to build a healer, which is what we're going to do in a second, you know, I don't want attack and crit rate and crit damage. I want things that synergize with a healer, like HP, defense, resistance, stuff like that. But yeah, regarding gearing a champion, it's now quite easy because, well, A, we've got free gear removal, but when you keep only good gear, if you just set your thing of speed to high, and then we'll go substats, what do we want? We want things like resistance, bit of HP, bit of defense percentage. Then I know if I get rid of my set filters, all of these bits of gear are probably really good. Like, that's a banging pair of boots. Like, it's one of those things, it's just being organized with your gear. Yeah, I get incredibly unlucky with mythical gear. I think you were here at the beginning of the screen when I pulled all the mythical Slayer stuff and it was all crap. And we don't get enough mythical chaos ore to rework it all. It's kind of, it just becomes kind of bad. Now, we can't have defense on a weapon. Yeah, let's just like build up a champ using the filters, and I don't care about the gear. You know, Elva, what does she need to live? So that's perfect. Resistance, HP, and speed. And this is why I'm picky about my gear, because when you go to gear champions, you don't have to spend hours going, crap, how am I actually supposed to do this? Might introduce a bit of defense now. Oh man, good luck if you are pulling shards. Is Wixwell on the... Oh, so I now see why you were asking me about Wixwell. Yes. I maybe personally wouldn't do it with primals, but you never know, you might get a mythical along the way, so massive good luck to you. Gotta work out how to build this Elva. Obviously 9-piece protection would be the way, but we're not going to do that. We're just dicking around because why not? Also, we can roll some gear as well. More points. Flat attack. You know, when we were talking about holding yourself to a high gear standard, that now goes in the bin. That is a crap bit of gear, and that is such a shame. But it is also Raid Shadow Legends. Let's go for a bit of that. I'm such a sucker for resistance as well. Let's select a bit of that. And what else do I want? Speed technically is already selected. Yep. I'm just now finding what I would deem to be bad gear on my account. So stuff that I don't want to use anywhere else. So offset sort of gear. Stuff like that. Perfect. Gloves, we only want HP or defense. And we want speed and resistance. Go with that. Completes the set. Crackling. Hold on, wait a minute. I'm gonna... Yeah, no, don't buy again. Don't buy again. I mean, at the end of the day, look, at the end of the day, it's your money, and if Raid brings you fun and happiness, which I appreciate it didn't just then, like spend away. I won't let anyone shit on me for spending money every now and then, because it's fun. Get rid of the boots. What do we want? Nice stone skin chest. That do. some speed boots on the go. In fact, if we put those on, get rid of the chest. I think there was a immortal chest. Let's go with that. Gearing has become so much easier. Now, for a DPS champion, that is not the case. I still think you should use the optimizer to build DPS. But we'll just high speed it. What's she got? She got no resistance. Let's go with that. Which one gives resistance? Is it? Protection does, yeah. There you go. That's a shit ring. I shouldn't keep that, but I just kept it because it's mythical. It's very easy to get attached to stuff just because it's there. I'm going to go with that. She needs some defense. We'll put a stone skin amulet on her. Let's go for that one. Roll it to 12. Probably get attack. Yeah. That's fine. Let's try that and equip. And there we go. That's a pretty solid Elva build. And if you do just keep good gear on your account, then building becomes really, really easy. Because you don't have to filter for all the crap. Oh dear. Oh wow. See, look, this is why we're not going to win CvC. What mythicals do you want to know? Corrosa. Oh, yeah. Now, can you actually still pull Corrosa? Okay, you can pull Corrosa. Interesting. I thought she was event only. I know, that is absolutely disgusting how many points they put down. That is 2 million points. Like, I know I'm not doing anything that's like earning me massive points at the moment, but that 2 million is disgusting. Get a bit more energy in a second. But anyway, the two... So, right, Garrel. I can talk about Garrel because I have Garrel and I got a 6-star soul for Garrel. Garrel is really, really awesome in her secondary form. So she's worth building for that secondary form. Now, she is attack-based, so she is a bit squishy. It is a she, isn't it? Yeah, it's got boobs. It's a she. She's a bit squishy, but goddamn, she hits incredibly hard. Yeah, I was just thinking that. Do you have mythicals? Do you actually have Corrosa and Garrel? Because I don't quite understand Corrosa, because I've never used her or actually come up against her outside of a tournament. Oh, Dade. Freaking 9 million of waiting for a 6-star Duchess soul. But Garrel, yeah, I think Garrel is really cool. I didn't use her for a very long time, and I think that's a thing with mythicals. I'm currently going through it at the moment with Embrace. Like, I pulled him maybe like a week or two ago, and I still don't quite understand how to use him. Like, I now understand his skills, but there's something quite intimidating about building and maintaining mythicals, because they do so much, and in some cases, like Garrel's a really good example, their A1 form and their A2 forms are so different in terms of what you would use them for. Like, what is the A1? Obviously, it's got the provoke and ally protection, so A1 form's a bit like a tank. But if you build her to be a tank, then she's going to suck in her secondary form. But second form, permanent AoE, just smack. She's very good. If I can, I'm going to build her in Slayer. And that will free up some of my Merciless for other ones. Wow, congrats, Twix, if you've got both of them. So, Garrel doesn't need books. Like, I'm slowly booking her second form, but as you can see, I've got no books in her first form. But I'm only saying that she doesn't need books from the way I'm using her. I think if you want a provoke champion, there might be a better option. So I probably wouldn't book her A1. And I wouldn't book her A2 out of any kind of priority. But I'm going to try and find... The other one was Kurosa, wasn't it? I can't actually remember what faction she was. Demon, of course she was. That was stupid of me. As far as Kurosa goes, I don't really understand. Now, I worked out how to beat her in the event dungeon, but I never worked out really why I was beating her. So she's got an A1 attack and a heal. That's pretty good. But that's one of those skills where the better you build her, the better she'll heal. So it's a little bit counterintuitive. With an AoE cleanse... But she puts unkillable on everyone except for herself. What is Fortify? Also, please, Plarium, would you please put the buffs and debuffs in alphabetical order? Reduces enemy. Oh, okay, right. So she kind of neuters the enemy team and makes them weaker. In her A1 form. I assume the A2 form is all about DPS. Yeah. Doesn't she have a buff strip? Okay, so what do I think about Kurosa? She's incredibly good. If you can get the right gear on her, she looks very gear intensive. She's got an enemy max HP based hit. She's very conditional. Everything she does, like, you need dead allies to make her better. Sorry, I'm just saying me right. I mean, yeah, I can see why Kurosa is very good for PvP. She's a proper pest. But I'm trying to look at her and think, how would I build her? And I've got to account for, I want to use her as DPS, but I also want to use her for support. So it's going to be a very stat heavy build. It's going to be hard to do without 6-star gear. Let's control A1. Sorry, control in our first form with a cleanse. Yeah, I mean, I think Kurosa is probably... Here's a question. Do you have Lady Mikage yet? Because if you do have any mythical books, you need to put them in Lady Mikage. And mythicals will hold their own without books. Because a lot of damaging mythicals, their books don't actually reduce the cooldown of the skills, they increase the damage they do. So they're not quite as critically important to book. But if you do have any legendary books, sorry, mythical books, save them for when you get Mikage. Yeah, that's when you'll want to save them. But as far as easiness to build, I think that you should probably build Garrel before you think about building Kurosa. I think you'll just have an easier experience. Yeah, that other clan is absolutely just crazy. I mean, I think we've done pretty well to hit 1 million. I haven't contributed much to the team. I do apologize. Yeah, I think that maybe you could use Kurosa outside of Arena, but I can't really think of where at the moment. Sounds like a massive resource drain more than anything. I'd go for Garrel. Yeah, and Zeph is right. Save books for personal rewards CvC. Which is, I know I just said don't book them. I'm going to completely go back on myself now, but I am actually considering putting books into Garrel. But I wonder if putting them into Empress would be... I don't know. I might just save them. And there you go. That's another good bit of advice I can give everyone in Raid. If you're sat here going, oh, should I, shouldn't I? Maybe if I just don't. I think, no, don't need to book Titus. Yeah, I haven't got enough books to go playing around with books today. Yeah, actually, because Zeph just mentioned it, this is a perfect time to do this. Now, if you regularly do Faction Wars and also Doom Tower, this is my biggest silver tip I can ever give anyone in this game. Go to your Forge and just pick the Doom Tower sets. Go to 3 to 4 star and see how many you can craft. You know, for 8,000 silver, I just got 112 returned. For this one, it's going to cost me 37,000 silver to spend. And I get 493,000 silver in return. If anyone wants to know why I've got nearly 700 million silver, it's this. It's the best, absolute best source of income that you can get in Raid. I think we've just made 1 million silver and I've done nothing. Same with these. Yeah, we just made well over 1 million silver. Just never ever do it on swift parry or deflection because the cost for even crafting one is so high compared to everything else. And just keeping on the time. Oh, I'm only going to be around for another couple of minutes. I was supposed to leave at 1. It's now 20 past 1. Where are we on the score? Where am I? I'm done here. I've done pretty much 60,000. I will aim to try and get, well, whatever the minimal reward is. 300,000, even though we won't win it. Yeah, your forge is the best place that you can get anything in this game. Also, if you're wondering about gear, now once you hit late game, you can be more sort of fun with your gear, but never, ever, ever underestimate how good Perception is. Perception is fantastic, and I use it on what, 7 out of 10 champions at least have a 1 or 2 piece Perception on them. And because we've got a ton of resources, I might, without spending any charms or glyphs, I might actually craft 150 of those with the filter on that I only keep, yeah, the above. It's a 1.5 million silver craft, but I made 4.27 million in the process, and I've got a crap load of good gear to go through. Yeah, Zeth, I think Perception is the best gear set in Raid Shadow Legends. Like, it just is, because everyone can get it, and it's free to get. You don't need to be end game to get it. All you've got to do is go into Faction Wars just literally on normal mode. Even stage 1, well, maybe not stage 1, let's be real, let's say stage, where's the minimum? Stage 13 of Faction Wars. If you can do stage 13 on any faction, you will get stuff to craft Perception. It is just the biggest no-brainer set in the whole game. And you know, what are the perfect stats for Perception? Like with everything else in Raid, all you've got to do is read it and it will tell you. If you want to know what the best bit of Perception you could possibly get is, it will have accuracy on it and it will have speed on it. Yeah. Also, if you're ever like, what do I build? What, you know, most champions will do really well in Perception. Obviously, maybe not a healer that doesn't need accuracy, but even then, good gear is good gear. Like, you know, this doesn't have any accuracy on it, but it's a triple speed It's got HP and resistance. That would be good for a healer. Like, it's the ultimate backup gear set. And everyone should be crafting as much of it as humanly possible. I'm going to be pretty brutal about what I keep and delete because I didn't actually put any glyphs or charms into this. So I'm looking for like really good stats or it's going in the bin. Because it's all just money at the end of the day. It's all silver. Crit damage with speed and defense. That's very close to being a good bit of gear, but it's not quite enough. I'll keep anything speed in case we get a quad. That's a good bit of gear. Speed, accuracy, resistance is alright. That's not so good because there's no speed. No speed, no speed. This is another thing. I don't keep anything that doesn't have speed. Not quite good enough, but not bad. I can only be this fussy because I've been fussy before. That's also a good bit of gear. So, you know, we just made, what, like 8 million silver? And we got 4 potentially good bits of gear. This is why I don't think we needed free gear removal. I don't know why they did it. We don't need it. If you're just kind of frugal, is that the right word? Frugal? If you're kind of reserved and conservative about how you spend in game, you will have tons of silver. I do try and have speed on every item if I can. Now, it's not always the way. You know, we can't always be that picky, but if I just go to priority stat speed here and take the filters off, like surely, you know, once we get to the bottom of this list, I will have things that don't have speed on them. But what I will have instead is like things like triple rolls. So I don't keep anything without speed unless there's something worthy of keeping on it. Now, I need, like I say, I haven't done a gear cleanse in a very long time. You know, when I see rares and 5-star epics that I know I'm not going to need, it's easy sells for me. But yeah, I won't keep it unless it's got something of real value with it. If it's crit damage gloves, they will have to have crit rate on them. I will not keep them if they don't have crit rate on them. If it's a pair of boots that aren't speed, so let's say it's an attack percent based boots, I will not keep them unless there's speed on them. Because to get where you need to go in 2020, I mean, look, the event dungeon that's out at the moment. Now, I'm not saying everyone has to go and farm stage 30, but if you want to farm stage 30, I think the ads in the way, not in the way, the ads next to the boss, like his little minions, I think they're all 300 speed. You can't get to 300 speed unless every item that you're wearing has speed on it. You just can't get there. Yes, you could bring in a booster to kind of force yourself there. But in late game, I don't think there is much of an argument to keep anything that doesn't have speed on it. Unless it's got something brilliant elsewhere. So like, I think there was a HP percent pair of boots that I kept because it had triple crit rate. There was no speed, but there was triple crit rate. I mean, that's probably not true for how it is at the moment. Like I say, I haven't done this in a little while. If we go to crit damage gloves, hide the set filters. So we've got 59. And how many of those have crit rate on them? 41. So the vast majority will have crit rate on them. Because, you know, getting crit rate, there's no point in having crit damage unless you've got 100% crit rate. I hate it when I do takeovers and I see, I mean, it's fine on early accounts and low level accounts because you don't need to worry about it yet. But when I look at a damage dealer and they haven't got 100% crit rate, but they've got 300% crit damage, I just think, no, like, rebuild it, do it again. Yeah, no, actually, Zeph, that was a much better ratio than I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to look really stupid then. But yeah, I do thank you so much for watching, guys. I do actually have to run out, and I've got shopping and stuff to do today and real life stuff. But I I think there's a video coming out later today that's all about how to build any champion, how to look at any champion and go, right, you know, Arbaez, I can't say Arbaez, whatever her name is. Let's pick someone else. Nell. Let's you know, look at Nell and go, right, how the hell would I actually build her? Or let's look at Oella and go, right, how do I actually build her? So I don't think it will be a particularly exciting video, but that is coming out later today, and it will talk you through how to build any champion in this game, and, you know, with whatever gear is necessary. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Sorry I've got to cut it short and run. Good luck with your CvC. As you can see, we are getting an absolute spanking from the Paladins. That's always fun. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and feel free to just, you know, drop any messages. I've got my Discord linked in the channel, somewhere on my channel description. Like, jump into Discord if you ever need answers to any questions. I'm pretty active over there, and there's not many people in there, so if you do ask a question, chances are I will probably see it. But yes, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, good luck with CvC, and if you are pulling shards, good luck, because you'll need it. Take care, guys. See you soon.